Hello, everybody. It's me, Big Daddy Brayan. My best friend since seventh grade, Sebastian, is not here. Not even my baby mom with all the drama. So it's just me, Big Daddy Brayan. And we're here to talk about One Piece. I feel like it's one of the greatest manga slash animes out there. Well, never mind. Maybe the anime just a little bit. But I just feel like it's one of those manga slash anime that people should really watch. And I think it's really hard to recommend this anime slash manga because there's 1,000 chapters, there's 1,000 episodes, and when you try to get someone into it, seeing that 1,000 episode plus number just scares people. I mean, I've been recommending this anime to my best friend Sebastian since I learned that he loves anime, and he always says, Brian, it's 1,000 plus episodes. I'm not gonna watch that. It's a lot of time. And I understand where he's coming from because it's 1,000 plus episodes. I mean, when I first watched this anime, it was like 600 plus, and even I thought that was a little bit too much for me to watch. But the only reason I watched it was because I loved watching Bleach, I loved watching Naruto, and around that time, that's when a lot of people were talking about the big three: Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. So I was like, I already watched Naruto, I already watched Bleach. It's time to check out One Piece. And the crazy thing is, I remember One Piece showing on Toonami at the time. And I remember seeing this arc, and the arc was Long Ring Along Land. And a lot of people hate this arc. Everybody hates it. Every time I bring it up, people are always like, Brian, it feels like filler. It's not that good of an arc compared to everything else in the anime. But I remember watching it, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I really liked what I saw. I think I just like the comedy aspect of it. I really like the whole part with Afro Luffy. And I was just like, let me watch this anime. And remember, guys, I know some of you guys are going to be like, how are you going to watch it on episode 300 and something? You should be watching episode 1. First of all, guys, I was like 10, 11, 12 years old when I watched this episode on Toonami. So it was like the first time I actually got to see a glimpse of One Piece. And I was like, I love Naruto, I love Bleach. Let me watch the other part of the big three. So then I started watching One Piece, and I remember I kind of did not like the art style, but it kind of grew on me after a while because I kind of just like that 90s aesthetic anime type, and that's what One Piece was looking at in the beginning. I mean, it came out in 1997, so I just kept watching it from there, and I do remember it started off slow, really slow. And I was just like, when is this going to get good? Like, when is this going to be one of the best animes out there? Because remember, every time I would watch like little clips on YouTube of Naruto or Bleach, there would be comments down below being like, One Piece butter, One Piece butter, One Piece butter. So it was just like a lot of hype behind it that I was kind of like, where is this like crazy good anime at? And the first episode, I feel like if you show that episode to a person, they're going to be like, what is this? Like, it's not that good. And so when my best friend Sebastian watched it, I didn't like really blame him much because it's kind of like it was a slow episode. But I told him, if you keep watching it, Sebastian, you'll love it. And I think the part that like I fell in love with this story is when Shushu showed up, the dog that was protecting the pet food shop for his owner that passed away. And I just really love the story that they had there. I mean, it pulled my heartstrings. I love pets. So I was just like, you got me, Oda. You got me with this one. But I do remember like I was starting to get like more into it around when Zoro was introduced, and Zoro was just a badass character with his three sword style. So it wasn't hard for me to be like, I love this character. He just had everything that you would want in a favorite character. Like if you told some 10-year-old kid what type of anime character they picture, they'd be like, oh yeah, like a guy with green hair, three swords, and just like talking all this crap and doing whatever he wants. That's Zoro right there. What's funny though is like the way I kind of watched this anime was through my local library. Yes, I used my library when I was 10, 12 years old. And they had like these disc packages with the One Piece episodes in there. And it was like 4 discs in there, and like it would be a 50 plus episodes in that one like DVD. And that's the only way I could watch it. I know I had like illegal websites I could have used, but at the time I just didn't want to use my computer and get viruses on it. I'm sorry guys if you want to judge a 10-year-old me for not wanting to go on illegal websites and get viruses on his computer. Sorry. But I just kept doing that because my local library had it up to like where Water 7 ends. They had it up to there. And so I just kept watching it from that point. And when I got to Water 7 and got done with that episodes, I started going on YouTube. Because at the time, YouTube was posting like 3 episodes into like 40 minutes. And so a lot of the time it would just like do some random cuts where like it would show one part of One Piece and then it's like boom, a whole other part where you're kind of confused. Your mind is like joggled, like what's going on here? And I just kept watching it like that. And I think I got all the way to like where the post time skip happened. And at that point, I just kind of dropped One Piece after a bit because I just didn't know where else to keep watching it. And I got kind of tired of these like crazy edits where it was kind of like, huh? So I just kept reading the manga at that point. So post time skip is when I started reading the manga. And I remember reading it up all the way up to Dressrosa. I think that's when I fully caught up to One Piece at that point. To the part where Luffy was about going to Gear 4. So when I got to that point, that's when I was like, wow, I actually caught up to all of this. That's crazy. And, you know, up to that point, I just loved One Piece. So it wasn't a big deal to me to do all that. But for other people that don't like One Piece, like I kind of understand their point of view to being like, I'm not going to keep watching after like 35 episodes. And I agree with them. Like, if you watch 35 episodes of this anime and you don't like it, you don't have to keep watching. Like, it's up to that point. I think that's a good chunk of an anime to watch and understand if you don't like it. I mean, there's some animes out there where they're like have 26 episodes and that's it for them. So you're basically watching like a whole anime series in those 35 episodes, and it's just understandable if you don't like it. I mean, that's what I've been trying to do with my best friend Sebastian. I've been like, Sebastian, like, if you get to 35 episodes, I won't tell you to keep watching One Piece because it's a good chunk of the anime already right there. So if he doesn't like it from there, I understand him to not keep watching it. So I've already talked about like some parts that I found interesting, like the Zoro part when he's introduced. I found that interesting, but I wasn't like fully into the anime at that point. I did talk about how like One Piece hooked me with Shushu, but I feel like the part where I was like, One Piece greatness is here, baby, is when we saw the ending of the Barate arc. I think it was just a really good arc that showed Mihawk pulling up out of nowhere, just cutting a ship in pieces and just destroying Zoro, one of the badass characters in this anime, and just destroying him. And I think at that point I was just like, whoa, okay, this is One Piece greatness. And it's crazy because at that point I just didn't understand how big of a deal that moment is. Because if you just keep watching the anime, you understand like watching one of the 7 warlords of the sea go to the East Blue just to wreck them for like being bored and everything doesn't compare what he does like later in the anime. Like we've seen what he does in the Paramount War or Marineford, whatever you want to call it. We've seen what he's done. So just seeing him in that little piece of moment, like it was crazy. It's crazy because everything that happens in One Piece is such a big deal. Like seeing Shanks go to the East Blue up to that point where it's kind of like we don't know. He is part of Gold D. Rogers' crew. Seeing Dragon show up, not knowing how big of a deal he is. Seeing Garp and not knowing how big of a deal he is. And seeing Mihawk, like, we knew how big of a deal he was, but we didn't understand the terms of, like, how crazy it is for these people to show up until later into One Piece and seeing, like, it's a big deal that all these people have some type of connection to the crew and seeing, like, how powerful they are in this world of One Piece. I just kept rambling on in this video, but it just shows how much I love One Piece. And I'm not going to stop recommending this anime to anybody. Yeah, it's 1,000+ chapters, 1,000+ episodes. But like, as long as you watch it and watch like 35 episodes and like it's not for you up to that point, it's understandable. And yeah, it's long, but like there's a way to keep watching this. You know, you don't have to watch this whole thing in a year. You don't have to watch this whole thing in 2 years. Like, just watch it in chunks. Like, you don't need to watch it like every day of your life, every second, every hour. Like, it's just one of those things where like One Piece is rewarding in every arc. There's always something coming up. There's always something being revealed. There's always just something going on that you're not going to be bored. And yeah, sometimes you might feel like you want to get rushed into like certain arcs just because there's cool moments that people have hyped up for you. I mean, I kind of wanted to like keep watching Dressrosa because of like the Gear 4 coming up. But you know, I just feel like people should be patient with it. Don't try to rush it. Just watch as much as you can. It's not a big deal if you can't finish it in a certain amount of time. I mean, it took me like 4 years to like catch up. But yeah, that's my thoughts on if you should recommend this anime to one of your friends or like anybody you know. So I'm gonna end it after this. So shout out to you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. If you want to keep listening to me, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a comment down below. Like the video. If you want to listen to this on audio, you guys know you can listen to it on any podcast app that you listen to podcasts on, and it'll be Dream Ghost, a One Piece lover. And if you love us and you want to support us, tell other people about us. Tell us like what we're doing over here. We talk about anime all the time, and the next video you're gonna see from me is talking about Chainsaw Man with the bad B, Sebastian.